Good morning, class. Today is Monday, April 13th, and you should have gotten your checklist for this week to show you what work you're supposed to do. It's 2 pages. So for Monday, April 13th, you have your spelling workbook, page 62 and 63. And then for reading, you're supposed to find out what really happened to Humpty Dumpty. Well, we can't read the book here, but I did read it for you on another YouTube video. It has 3 parts. Now, I'm not going to spoil the ending. You have to read it or listen to me read it so that you can find out what really happened to Humpty Dumpty. But today, I'm going to ask you some other questions that don't have anything to do with the end, unless you already know what happened at the end. Well, the original rhyme about Humpty Dumpty is a nursery rhyme. And you should know how that goes. You remember it? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Very short rhymes, yep. And about an egg named Humpty Dumpty who sat on a wall and fell off. They couldn't put them back together. Now, in this story, Humpty has already fallen off the wall. And who is this character? The main character of our story is Humpty's brother. Right. Do you remember what his name is? Joe. So we'll put him down for one of the characters. Joe. What's his last name? Dumpty. Look, by Joe Dumpty, because Humpty Dumpty and then Joe Dumpty, Joe is his brother. Let's talk about genre. Now, we didn't get a chance to talk too much about the different genres of stories, but we did talk about how some stories that you read or some books are fiction and some are nonfiction, right? So, which one is this? If you said fiction, then you are correct because fiction means it's not true. But nonfiction means that it's true, and there are lots of different kinds of fiction stories. This one is a fairy tale. So you should be writing this down. So your first question is genre, write fairy tale. And for the characters, we'll go into the different characters. Now, let me get my book so I can tell you about why this is a fairy tale. Well, one of the things that makes it a fairy tale is because in fairy tales, there are lots of things that couldn't really happen. Some nonfiction stories could happen. You know, it's possible, but they're not true. But in fairy tales, they really can't happen at all. They involve talking animals and magical beings. So they couldn't exist in real life. So that's a fairy tale. It's fantasy. All right. So some of the things that you can tell, ways that you can tell that this is a fairy tale, is because do eggs talk? I hope not, because I like to eat them a lot, and I wouldn't eat them if they were talking. And also in the story, let's look at the book, just a reminder of some of the characters. And as we go through the characters, well, look, on my first page is a map. this is going to tell you the setting or where it happened. Can anybody tell where it happened? It's at the top of the page, and it is Mother Goose Land. And here is a picture of Mother Goose Land. It's a map, a pretend map, but still a map of Mother Goose Land. So, do you think Mother Goose Land is a real place? No, it's fantasy. There are a lot of Mother Goose rhymes, and I think that is where all of these characters live. Mother Goose Land. So, for number 3, for your setting, right, Mother Goose Land. Now, some of the other characters, well, Mother Goose is one of the characters. Do you remember what her job is? Mother Goose job in this story, and you'll see it right here. There's Mother Goose right there, and there's Humpty Dumpty before he fell off the wall. He's having a meal with Mother Goose. So Mother Goose is the chief of police, and Humpty Dumpty is her friend. All right, there's a lot of other characters from Mother Goose stories that are in here. Do you recognize this character? Has a red hood, Little Red Riding Hood. So that's one of the characters. And this is one of the main characters right here. Who is that? Little Miss Muffet. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet eating her curbs and whey. Along came a spider. So I'm going to put down Miss Muffet is one of the characters. And the spider. There are some more characters in this story. If you go back and listen, maybe you would think of some more. I'm not going to go through the whole book again because I did on the YouTube videos. So you can go back over it if you don't remember. But there are lots of characters in this story. The setting is Mother Goose Land. And the last question is, compare this story to the nursery rhyme. How are they alike? How is this story like that story? And how are they different? See how many similarities you can come up with. Similar means alike. Tell how many similarities. They're alike because it's a story about some eggs and Humpty fell off the wall. Think of some more. Then differences. Well, there were no king's horses and king's men to put them back together. Humpty went to the hospital, right? What else? Why was he up there on the wall? It's a longer story. So there's a lot of similarities and differences that you can write about. Well, when you finish, take a picture of your paper that you've done and email them to me. And then on Zoom, we'll talk about what really happened. We'll get to the end and the bottom of the